Hello, everybody, and welcome to my new mini series or series here that I'll have. I'm going to be talking not MTV Stream, but a Fox um, on that channel, Scream Queens. Scream Queens premiered last night. I wasn't able to watch it live. I do have to be upfront and honest about that, but I did watch it in its archive form this morning, early this morning. I was up at like 5 a.m. Doing some things, and because I had to get ready because I have a couple appointments this morning to go to. But was able to watch the episode, and and I wanted to review it because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do a review of the show. I enjoyed season one. I did watch all of season one. I just didn't do a podcast form or a series like I'm doing for MTV Scream, which also, by the way, for horror fans or fans in general, I will be doing my reviews again coming back here next month, this upcoming month here in October, which is coming up fast. I think next week, October 1st, already creeps up upon us. And for me, just to share to everybody, it's not a real thing. It's not a whatever, but just for me personally, for the holiday season, for me personally, the holidays start on October 1st. October 1st to January 1st, I do include Halloween as part of the holiday holidays, I guess you can say, with Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I have Halloween part of that, at least for me personally, in my own little world, in my own little mind, that way. So October 1st to January 1st, just wanted to share a little bit more about me personally in that way, and kind of a cool, not cool thing to share. I mean, whether you guys care or not, I just wanted to share it since I have the opportunity to here on my channel. But like I said, I know I've been getting a lot of positivity and good comments back from my MTV Scream reviews, and those have been doing good in viewership, um, averaging between 72 and 80. I would say I actually have to crunch the numbers. It's a good thing I excelled in math in school, but if I personally crunched the numbers or found a system here on YouTube to crunch it for me, um, I mean, I took calculus honors in high school. You'd think I'd be able to do that. So, but if I did crunch the numbers, I would, from what I look, just bare bottom, just looking at the view count for each of those videos, I would say it would average around that average for views. If I had to pinpoint a number for a guess, I would have to say like 72 if I had to make a guess of the average. So that's pretty good. I mean, for me, that has only a subscriber count of 82. That has a subscriber count of 82. Most, if not 90% of my audience, plus others, obviously, that maybe have not subscribed yet, did give it a chance and watched it, which is cool. And when I come back for my MTV Scream review, I will be having a couple of guests. Some guests from the YouTube channel Frightflix. Uh, we have having him as a guest, and also uh, from the YouTube channel, very popular YouTube channel, Horror Addicts, HORROR, Horror Horror Addicts. Um, they are one of them, or both, will be um, part of my review show for that, for the Halloween special for MTV Stream. But here, this is Scream Queens, different show, different topics. As now that I have my chat enabled because of the change of Google Hangouts moving to YouTube Live, which is awesome for a person like me. I always like to interact with people. It's been working for or helping me with my episodes and just in general to be able to converse. It's been helping me with my NFL show. I had a couple people join in for an episode a couple weeks ago, this past week for my wrestling show, and then again, hopefully again this week for my wrestling shows and moving forward. But I also wanted to be here for this series as well, if people are able to be here. Now, I know today, at the time it being in the morning, I'm, I assume, I'm just going to assume right now that I might not be able to, there might not be anybody in the chat, but there might be a couple that are live, watching live as I can actually see here. Excuse me, while I'm broadcasting, which is fine. Not everybody wants to chat, not everybody can. Some are shy, like I am. That is my personality as an introvert. But doing these podcasts and doing everything, really making me branch out, spread my wings, so to speak, become more of a social butterfly. But anyway, or at least in regards to my YouTube channel and podcasting. So also, I am going to be finding out this week. Everybody tweet at Elena Nicole, ELENANIC0LE, where I try to win a contest to be her co-host for a wrestling podcast after WWE Monday Night Raw. Uh, so let her know that stuff. Even though I already assume she's made her decision, but you never know. You never know. So, anyways, actually, let's get on topic. If you like the video, leave a comment, subscribe. Of course, if you're not subscribed, like I always say, I'm trying to grow my channel, trying to gain subscribers, get to that 1K, 5K, those goals, not just for the number, not just for the notoriety and saying, oh, I have 5K subscribers. No, to me personally, it's actually more for to be able to interact with people, whether we're talking pro wrestling, Scream Queens, NFL, MTV Stream, whatever, whatever you're interested in individually. I hope that there's something here on my channel that that holds you, grabs you, and holds you in of interest that you care about or care about at all. So let's get to the topic at hand. I do apologize for the first 10-minute rambling there about other things, but I did just want to get that out of the way, some house cleaning and some news and notes in general about my channel, my other shows, or my other podcasts here, and what I want for this one as well. So excuse me, let's dive right into it. Scream Queens Season 2, Episode 1, Scream Again. They start off. They start off kind of the same way they did last year, kind of with the same theme or story like last year. Like they hard started with season one. Oh, difference is back then for season one it was a sorority party at the Kappa House. This time it's a Halloween party set to I think it was 1985, and Our Lady of Perpetual Suffering, which which in itself could be foreshadowing things moving forward in general. Just to clarify for those who have watched it. And if you haven't watched the episode, obviously pause this video, watch the episode however you can, and then come back and hear and listen to my thoughts on the episode. And leave your comments about it as well in the comment section below this video. But I liked how they did that. I like kind of how there's that overall story within the new story of the season. Okay, kind of like how there was that overall story in general to the TV show How to Get Away with Murder within each episode, which had separate cases, or with MTV Scream and shows like that. Just with having an overall theme. Besides, finding out who the killer is in general. That's kind of how MTV Scream and here on Fox Scream Queens works. But it's just I like having that added part of it. And for the Kappa House one, that was about the baby and who it was and the mother and that situation and yada yada. Here, it seems like it's a story, but it's not going to be like an overhanging theme, at least to me. Not to the point of the other one. I mean, it could be because there's a woman and a baby situation again, kind of like in the story in season one, but with a little bit of a twist. And the killer also, at least this new killer, has a new look. Season one, they had the red suit called the Red Devil. Now we have a green monster, being the monster, being the bad guy, being the killer. So I like how that changed up too, because they're changing up the scene, they're changing up everything. They're away from the Kappa House. Um, the chancellor there or whatever principal now is running a hospital, so everything's moved there. So things are different here between seasons. So changing up the killer and changing up the look of the killer, what the individual wears, I guess, as that thing of what the killer wears is cool to me too, and I like that. I like how that changes and how you get a new feel in that, and now you get a new feel, a new place, a new setting for all these characters from what we got in season one. And that's what I maybe hope for season three of MTV Scream. But excuse me, I apologize for that. Excuse me. But no, and let's just quickly go over. I do have a little bit of notes of what happened with the scene of flashback of what happened there in 1985. Again, that's where I believe it said, because I saw the sign there, Our Lady of Perpetual Suffering. I try to remember the date there. That was with that story. I believe it was October 31st, 1985, but it could be 86, 87. I don't know. It wasn't focused on that so much at that time, but I was trying to thought I got it right. Anyways, a frantic pregnant woman pulls a doctor and nurse from a party in a Halloween party. They're trying to relax. They didn't want, not taking her seriously. They're thinking it's a prank or BSing, or I don't know what they were thinking or whatever. Or they just didn't care in general. They're just a nurse and doctor that don't care at all. It seems like, or I don't know. I don't know how that worked, but then the patient is there. Do you think the doctor's helping out and he's not? So instead of helping them, they just toss them into a swamp, like a swamp area where Swamp Thing lives. I don't know. It's like it was kind of weird there too. It reminds me actually of Gil. I don't know if anybody watched Kim Possible as a child, but there's an episode of a swamp monster named Gil with three L's, Gil, that came from the swamp. So that was just something interesting that flashed back in my mind when I watched that scene after the patient was put into this swamp thing, to the green toxic swamp behind the hospital or facilities there. And dang it, excuse me, apologize. Might have a cough coming on. But anyways, and then as the nurse and doctor leave, and again, I like the introduction of these new characters and the other new characters like John Stamos, excuse me, and others, as well. And as we get into the episode, I'll actually know their name, so I can sound better when I talk about them. This is the first episode of season two, so there I will have not know with who they are right now. But I did enjoy how they were. I did like how they were introduced, um, foreshadowing some things for certain characters that I noticed at least. Um, but really looking forward to how this season goes. I mean, it's a new twist, changing things up, new scenery, as I talked about. Uh, you're in a hospital, you're not at a sorority house in college. You know, you, a lot of other things changed, which obviously for season one, season two. Just looking forward to how it all unfolds. But anyways, like I said, that's why it reminded me of Gil from Kim Possible because after the doctor and nurse leave, then there's that thing, swamp thing, or whatever you want to call it, that's creeping up and like just raising its head above, kind of like a for WWE fans. Remember when Vince McMahon from the outside was raising his head, he was busted open, and that evil smirk kind of thing. So that was kind of cool. I guess for things how I remember things, I think of pro wrestling, Kim Possible, other things to try to help me in that way. But just sharing to share. That's how I remember my muscle memory, my memory tricks for this show or for anything I'm watching. But okay, so the doctor is the one that was wearing that green monster costume. Okay, then later on, I know I'm kind of jumping a little bit ahead, and I apologize, but since I'm already on topic, I might as well keep my thoughts. But you move ahead, and now the killer is in this green suit, and that's what the killer should be known for, being in that suit. So could that doctor be the killer? Could the doctor or a relative of the doctor? Okay, because that was way back in 1985, right? 1985, 86, whatever that was officially. Um, in that scene, now these many years later, it could be a son or his grandson, even, or whoever, however, um, that took over the thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. For that, I think it's foreshadowing something. Who could the killer be? It could be somebody that hasn't even arrived on the scene yet, hasn't on the show yet. Just like MTV Scream season one, killer was not formally introduced to the show until halfway through the first season. So this could be the situation here for Scream Queens. Maybe not. That's just my thinking. That's just what I took from it. If you think differently, that's perfectly fine. I respect your opinion just as much as I hope you respect mine as well. But that's just where I took it from that because that has to mean something, right? Nothing on in this show, just like MTV Scream, as I talked about with my co-host Jay of Talking WWJ. on that show about how every little thing matters, every nonverbal, every frame of an episode, of every scene, it matters. It means something, whether it's a red herring or not. It's a clue of some sort. Either way, whether it's to trick you, or to point you the direction, or to prove something, or to confirm something, whatever. However, it means something. So I believe, and I go into this show as I did for season one and continue through that season. And just so you know, my prediction, since I didn't do any reviews for Scream Queens season uno, numero uno, season one, um, I did not predict, and this is me being honest. I'm not going to pretend and say, oh, I knew it, but I did not predict Lea Michele's character to be the killer. I did not think that she would. I had a kind of suspicion, like if I made my top five, she would have been there each and every week, but she would have been near the end, lower, like five and four, maybe moving up to three by near the end of the series, but she never was my number one. To be quite honest, my number one through the whole thing actually was Nick Jonas' character, especially after he was so supposedly killed, then not, and then later on, whatever. I just thought that he was, and then if it wasn't going to be him, it was going to be that I forget that actor's name, but he was from Rules of Engagement, a former CBS show. He played the father of one of the ladies. Again, I apologize I forget these names, but I had him as my number one. So those two are my number one and twos for season one. So here into season two, things are going to be getting more interesting, new characters, new things. As I said, I think maybe with that how everything matters, and that's where my point was being. Every little moment matters. So this whole thing about the green suits to others that might not mean anything to them, or they didn't notice it. To me, I noticed it 100%, and I'm even magnifying it more because of how I'm going into the season, just as I have for last season, as I do for MTV Scream or any kind of show like this, playing armchair detective. Um, in my way of thinking, everything matters. Everything has a rhyme and reason. Okay, whether it's like I said, if it's whether to throw you off or whether to put you on the right track, it does matter. Even nonverbals as well. Watch some of the scenes and some of the looks and some of the things. It's poignant. It means something. At least to me, that's just how I do my thinking in that way for the shows like this. So again, just wanted to share that. The previews, there was that one scene that they were promoting. See here if I can find my notes here. Oh yeah, Dr. Brock Holt is John. This is John Stamos' character. Dr. Cassidy Cascade, played by Taylor Lautner. Okay, and then Chanel number three. Let's see here. Oh yeah, and when Zayday ran into the Chanels, that's when she screamed and dropped the laundry basket. Some people thought it was finding the killer already. Not obviously not revealing the killer, otherwise you wouldn't have a whole season. Be done in one episode. But finding someone dead, like finding a body or something, that's what some people thought. But most of the fandom of Scream Queens was on the right track and thinking it was the the Chanels arriving there at the hospital and Zayday screaming bloody murder because they're there. I don't know why that's so scary or bad, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. I mean, maybe it's because Zayday, who is actually wanting to become a doctor and to empower other women and attending medical school and doing other things, and her trying to be the best all be all, um, and the Chanel's coming in that don't know anything. And I like the one line, excuse me, by Chanel number one, by Emma Roberts' character, Chanel number one, when they're in the hospital and they're talking about how they're doctors now and that nurses are basically their slaves. Like, I don't know if they really should have said it that way. I don't know if that really should have been the way you should have said it, especially in this day and age and with everything going on in the world and all the other stuff. I know it's just a line in a TV show. I'm sure some people say I'm overreacting, but I'm just saying, just let's not bring up the word slave in any way, even just in this quote unquote with this funny weird character in this one scene. I don't know. I thought they could have said something else. They could have said um, or she could have just said that we're doctors and we can use nurses however we want. There's something in a different way. maybe that wouldn't have drove the point as much as her statement actually did, but just to me it would have been interesting. Christy Alley. At first, I didn't know that that was her, Nurse Awful, but it's kind of cool, anyways. Let's see here. And I do like to have my favorite quotes, as I already said, the one from Chanel number one. Yeah. Oh no, she didn't say slaves. She said servants. Good. Good. I did mishear that. Are like our servants, because I thought they said slaves, and I'm like, wait, no, you don't use that word. Not even now. So yeah, she did. Because she said we're doctors now. That means nurses are like our servants. But that still is. I don't know. It's still a connotation of negativity, but it is what it is. And then Chanel number one. I mean, Chanel number one, just period. That character, Emma Roberts playing that one from season one. Now it's season two. Just great quotes. Another one on her college major. She said, "We decided to be communications majors because it is the easiest." I don't know about that, but whatever. But the addition of John Stamos and Taylor Lautner actually seems like he's going to be a big boost. And they're going to be, as the main characters, as doctors, see where their roles are in this whole storyline of who the killer could be. They're obviously suspects. To me, no one is safe. No one, everyone's a suspect. No one's safe in this kind of situation. In my thinking, and they'll definitely be near, here on my list. Now, just like MTV Scream, those reviews, I'm gonna have my top five each and every week near the end of this podcast episodic episodes, I guess. Where I'll have my top five of who I think the killer is. I don't know if they gave the name to the killer, as in like for the first season it was called the Red Devil being the killer, but this one it doesn't have a snazzy little thing. Let me see here. Just trying to see if there's anything else here. Oh yeah, something else. Obviously, we were talking about the killer here near the end of the episode, and there was this patient there that had a situation. Chanel and Idean actually, the doctor agreed with and everything, and then there's a mess up, and then at the end, Chanel number three, I believe. Let me see here. Yeah, no, yeah, so one of those Chanel's there being in a an incubator, whatever that was, and then the killer comes in, kills the patient, but it doesn't look like the killer killed the Chanel. It looks like that Chanel survived, at least from what I saw in previous the whole season. Not just for the next episode, but for the season as well. It seems like she survived, and it seems like the killer's after patients more than the Chanel's or any of the doctors. So where's the so what? So from that thinking here, from season one or season two, episode one, season two, episode one, from the premiere of season two, where what could that mean in the long run of what the backstory of the killer is? Like it has to mean something. That the killer is targeting the patients of the hospital and not the doctors and nurses of the hospital or of this of this hospital. If it was because usually how it would go is that the killer would want to exact revenge on doctors or of something because of their situation. Like maybe they were disfigured and the doctors didn't give them a time of day or this or that. Like that's usually how the story, the backstory would be for something like this. And in the reveal at the end of season two, that's what would happen. At least to me, that's what I would think. But this is different. So what I pick up on again, me maybe overthinking, but it's just how I do it. From the fact that we learn and already have learned that that's what the killer is targeting, and from the previews for the whole season, that's what it said that they're targeting the patients at the hospital, not whatever. Not saying they're not going to target hospital staff at any point, but the patients. Could that backstory still be the same, only in a different light, in a different angle? Meaning that the backstory is still the same of that wanting exact revenge in the hospital, someone did something wrong to them or one of their family members, but going after patients at the hospital now because to them those other patients are not are not more important than them. So we see the same backstory in a different twist in a different way. If you understand what I'm saying. Now I'm not saying that's what it's going to be. I'm just thinking maybe it still could be. But my original point of track here was going to be that it's going to be totally different than that, than what it would usually be and what I thought it would be, or it could now be that now that the killer is targeting the patients at the hospital and as a hospital staff, that excuse me, that the backstory is different and much different. Where maybe the story is more of being a doctor, maybe actually being that doctor that I said, and in my top five, he's actually in my top five, that doctor, or I would say a relative of that doctor from that first scene there, way back when, in the, eh, for the overall theme. So it could be one of those situations. Could be this, could be that. Who knows? We're only in one episode, and I'm already theorizing this stuff on both ends, from thinking this way or that way, as some way. As we get more and more, as we get more puzzle pieces to the puzzle, or pieces to this puzzle, as I like to say on my other review show for MTV Scream, if you get as we get more pieces to this puzzle, so the picture becomes clearer and clearer and more clear from there, then for me and others, we get a better understanding of thinking of, okay, what, not just of who it could be, but what could be the backstory. And even from learning already, as we get into more and more episodes, trying to theorize a backstory for the killer, could also help you theorize who the killer is. At least to me. Again, to each his own, and how you get to who you predict. Because if you're right, you're right, and whether you think the same way I do or not, as long as you're in the end you get the correct person, then good for you, because it worked for you. But for me, that's how I do it sometimes, or most of the time. Like I said, I watch and everything, nonverbals, every little scene, every little frame. Um, and in this situation also, you just never know, because it could be. And like I said, if you figure out the backstory to who the of the killer as we get into more and more episodes, deeper and deeper into season two, that can also help you, among other things, of course, others, actual scenes and true evidence, um, true evidence in the episodes. Beyond that, just trying to theorize and think of backstory already for what the reveal could be for the killer could help you maybe predict who it could be. At least in my thinking, it could be. I mean, you never know. You never know. But it was a pretty good premiere. I certainly enjoyed it. I wish I was able to watch it live last night, but again, I had other responsibilities to attend to, so I wasn't able to. If I was, I might have even been able to live tweet during the show on my personal Twitter handle at rma_strong_06. But thanks to those that were able here in the morning to join in the conversation. And thank you for watching live. Those that have been watching archived, I don't know if I'll actually have a regular timetable for when I do this. Maybe it will be mornings, and I just won't have the interaction on the chat, which is what it is. But with my schedule being what it is for myself moving forward, that this is where I might have to do it in the mornings or late nights, which would be actually kind of interesting for reviewing a TV show like Scream Queens at like midnight central or midnight time or 1 a.m. But it probably will be more mornings, but we'll see. Either way, I am enjoying the show. I enjoyed season one. We'll be enjoying season two. Leave a like on this video if you are a fan of the show, if you're excited for the show, and obviously stroke the shit link of this podcast to anybody and everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for stopping by, and as always, take care.